Look at us. Who would have thunk? The end of the road, full moon, full circles, cycles closed out, period. We are saying goodbye to the beloved show that is and was Insecure by the incredible, the incomparable, the brilliant, the genius, the dream achieved, Miss Issa Rae. Oh my gosh. I am Just Latasha. I just hosted a live dissection, which is exclusively on patreon.com/JustLatasha. So if you missed that, become a patron for $5. You guys can access the show on the rewatch. If not, you guys can wait until Thursday. It will become accessible to the general public. But what is this show? See, now my patrons are fire. Okay, they be in the chat, lighting it up, lighting it up. Okay, I'm such a Yankee. That was bad, and I know it was bad when I said it, but I tried anyway. Isn't that the theme of why we're here? Everything's gonna be okay. So me and my patrons just dissected the final episodes of the entire series of Insecure, and now they're gonna come on video and speak with me. This is gonna be a good night. More people are gonna be flowing in, I imagine, as the show keeps going on. But we want to talk about what we had just talked about and talk about it with y'all instead, okay? So here we go. I want to see who we got up first. We have Khaled in the house. Go ahead and say hi to everybody.
What up, y'all?
I know you got opinions because you be firing off in the chat, making me laugh. You be doing it all.
It's
So
all sentimental shit tonight, though.
I know we so damn emotional. We got somebody else that I'm so excited to introduce to y'all. Just hanging out, having fun. What up, Adrian? Wait, I didn't put you on.
What's up?
I can't believe that we're all here. We're all here. I have someone else joining as well. She is always late. But I'm excited to hear what she got to say. I'm going to check out. We're going to hold on just a little bit. Thank you guys for putting all the hearts up in the chat. We're going to have such a great conversation. Say what you want. What's up, Token? And here's the first question that I want to pose to the room. If you're in the chat, you can answer. If you're on video, you can answer X, Y, and Z. So let's just walk through last night's episode. Nathan breaks up with Issa. He's cool on all the toxic, messy shit. He's good on that. I want to ask, do you guys feel like Nathan tried? Did he fight for her the way Lawrence was encouraged to?
Should I? You want me to go?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he did try, but he's trying, but he realizes that he needs to try for himself. Like he needs to focus on himself. Like he needs to get himself together. So like, yes, he did try. He put effort in. But I think, sometimes when you do something, it's like, I should probably do it this way. I think he was looking for something that he thought he would find not only in Issa, but in a relationship. And I think he just realized he has to fall back. So it's like, yeah, he did put in effort, but I think he realized where he needed to put it in. That makes sense?
Yeah, because he's finally being a grown up. Like he's always like temper tantruming and leaving and and he's very like reactive. He's like, I felt a feeling and I had to flee. Oh, baby, please. All right, please. How about you, Callie? What did you feel about Nathan's effort or possibly lack thereof?
I think if we go back to season 4, when he tells Issa his diagnosis that he's bipolar, I think that was sort of clarity on how his psyche is, how his mental state is. And I think he tried to restart, get a second chance with Issa now that he has his clarity. He wanted to get the second chance. However, I don't think he put in enough effort. Like I wanted to see him communicate more, put more of an effort into, showing Issa that he's gonna be here. Because he kept on saying like, I don't know if LA is good for me. I might dip, and that just shows a lack of faith in the relationship.
like I said, he was lukewarm. He got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And when he says in the car, I had this nagging feeling. I half believe him. Like, I half believe him because I think he wanted to leave anyway. He's always felt like he wasn't home in LA. He also said something last night at Issa's birthday party that I really didn't like. And I'm not an advocate for hitting, but I would have had to piece him up real quick because he came to her birthday and he was just like, now this is starting to feel like home. Like after we're done. He was in my home the entire fucking time, but now it's starting to feel like I will fight you.
Well, his entire presence at the party was just, that shit threw me. I was like in distress, like Santana. Now I'm in distress. I was like, why is he? The whole time I was watching the scene, I was like, Issa, just drop it. Just drop him. Leave him. Don't even entertain it. Just leave it alone. And I was so happy when she, like, in the frame, you could see her walk out, just leave that. And I was like, yes, yes.
I think it's interesting as well. He mentioned how she messaged him, he didn't message back, and it's like we just doing the same thing as season 3.
Yes. I got your messages. I got your messages. Like, nigga.
I think he's being honest, but I think he has more self-reflection to do on like his full truth. I think he only understands fragments of why he's doing what he's doing. And I think that's why I'm so unsatisfied with the answers that he gives. Even though it sounds pretty coming out of that southern slow drawl from thick molasses down to the barbecue. However, it's like you have more work to do, but fuck it, I'll take it. I'm not dating you anyway. I'm going back to my man. It don't even matter. It don't even matter. We have more people joining. Hello to Malik. Do you want to say hi to everyone? Thank you for being here.
Hi, I have been watching you for so long. I could not miss the very end of this Insecure. Yes, I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And everyone who would like to speak with Malik, please, their pronouns are they, them. We also have Token.
Hey.
What's up, y'all?
What's up, boo? If you all want to join in, I asked if we thought Nathan tried hard enough. He broke up with Issa as soon as the episode started and was just like, I can't do it. I'm out. Did he fight the way Lawrence was encouraged to fight for Issa's love?
I think when Nathan walked up and said, "What is this?" He knew.
Damn.
I think he knew exactly what time it was. And this, how a situation happens and they be like, it's not what it looks like. No matter what Issa said, everything that had transpired between them leading up to that point, he already knew what time it was. So I think he knew what he had to do.
I had a question too, because I saw this tweet from the lovely, the beautiful, the talented, hey friend, hey, our dissection series, I believe episode 3. And she tweets, Nathan looked over at her like, wait, you not gonna fight for me even a little bit? Now, I would love to hear your thoughts because you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And Molly tried this with Issa too, when they were fighting last season, and Molly was like, maybe we're not friends. And Issa was like, my lift is here. Don't be mad now, because why would you bring that up if you don't really want to not be with me? Like, why would you like dangle your relationship in my face? I actually had someone do that to me the other day, and I was like, yeah, you can go. And they were like surprised. No, because you no. So was Issa supposed to fight for Nathan? Period, Gina. Where's Daniel? Everyone's been asking for and did not arrive here at all in this season.
Did Issa fight hard enough for Nathan?
Yeah.
She was ready to let that man go.
Yeah.
She was ready to let that man go. Even from like last season, even from last episode when they were like reveling in something that was already over with the apartment, that should have been the sign. Like, girl, this is not it.
I just can't believe she was really about to sign a lease with that motherfucker. Like, she
literally.
Really that.
I really hated the way, like we said in the dissection series, I really hated the way they all, Issa and Nathan just kept hitting these milestones as sort of like a second thought. Like, I guess we should move in. Like,
everything was very, as a matter of fact, everything was very tongue in cheek. And like you said, on one of your most recent dissections, Latasha, when Issa was having these premonitions about what life path and choose your own adventure she was going to choose, her dream or her little hallucination with Nathan, what you said, Latasha, we see stripes, we see cages, we see.
Yes.
So, I think in her psyche, she already knew what was up. She knew who she wanted to be with. She knew who she thought about texting when she was high as fuck. She knew who she couldn't stop thinking about. So to fight with him would have been a footless endeavor.
I love to watch you dissect the fantasy where her hair is bone straight. She walked like it just did not feel like Issa. The way she was speaking, the way she was interacting with people, like I was like, yes, that's what success may look like to you, but that's not Issa. That is not Issa.
Especially like with the hair, like the whole natural hair thing. Her natural hair has been a pivotal part of her identity as a character in this show for 5 seasons. So when she acquires success, all of a sudden she's going like Doobie #2 blowout, and it was just like, who's asking you to do that? And do you think you have to conform that way in order to access the success? Are you sacrificing a piece of your identity in order to access that success, and having to leave your community and your intention and your people behind to have it? And so when she gets on that panel with Elaine Welteroth, she looked like old money, don't she? Oh my God. And her panel finally works. And, ooh, child, and the whole audience.
Oh, yes.
It's like, that's what you want and that's what you dream, but something about it ain't right. And as nice as it is, it's not fulfilling. And as creatives or whatever it is that y'all do, are you willing to give yourself up to have more? And I know I'm not, but that's just my individual experience and answer.
Yeah.
Listen, Rihanna said, "What are you willing to do? Tell me what you're willing to do." So,
and then accepting that if you choose to take this route, it might take a little longer. It might,
talk about it. Don't get me started.
Get started. This is the finale.
Okay, so I have another question for everyone. Issa. Oh no, am I on the right thing? I almost skipped. Okay, here we go. So Molly asked Issa, what would you have said to Lawrence if Nathan hadn't interrupted? Did Molly's original advice about Issa, you're being inconsistent, what happened to that advice? Is it still true? Did Molly change her mind? Is it okay to be inconsistent as long as you're sure about why you're changing your mind? Like, Molly was very clear on, like, you're doing this again. You're going back to Lawrence. You're doing that weird thing. And now Molly's like, did I say that?
I think that, like, sometimes with your friends, they know, like, the thing that's happening before you know it's happening. So I feel like in that moment, that was the advice that was needed for Issa to grow. But I feel like once it, like, progressed, like the story progressed, I feel like Molly as her friend, like, really realized, like, my sister's unhappy. Like, she needs to, like, get this off her chest. She needs to communicate with this person. So I think that's why her, like, thoughts about it changed.
We got more patrons in the room. Hello, is it Sherby?
Oh, Sherby. I'm Sherilyn.
Cheryl, how are you? Welcome.
Hi.
Glad to have you. And we've got Mark, always in the chat. What's going on? All right, y'all. So the question that I posed to everybody was, Molly originally told Issa, look, if you go back to Lawrence, you're being inconsistent. Don't be messy. Just think about what you want to do. To now, last night, Molly was like, oh, you about to go back to Lawrence? Don't be using my quote against me. So what happened to her advice? Why did it shift? Why do we think it shifted? And is she still right?
Well,
Well,
before we get too deep into unpacking that question, let's not forget that Issa also, there was a pivotal moment where Issa also told Molly what she needed. And do y'all know what that was? Some of this wine juice. Some of this wine juice. I'm sorry. All right.
I think because Molly recognized that, seeing what Issa was going through, and she's been her friend all this time, and even though she gave her that advice before, she saw sort of like the growth and see how much she struggles with making choices and making decisions. So now she's like, you're too much in your head. Sometimes you just got to be in the moment. And I think that's why she changed it, like someone else said, to match what was happening.
I think she could see her zeroing in and was just like, I think her advice still applies to Issa's personality in general, but in this specific case, I think like you said, sometimes your friends know, like they peep some shit. So I think her advice is still applicable, like to Issa in general. But in this situation, she probably saw like, girl, you're gonna end up with like, but she didn't want to say go do it, but it's like just egging you on. Like if you feel like you want to explore that, it's not like it's too late to do so. I think.
How do we feel about Molly's advice, y'all? Who else in here? We got somebody else in here. What up, Uchechi? Has joined. We were talking about Molly's original advice. If Issa's being inconsistent, now that Issa's sort of thinking about Lawrence again and kind of pondering it, is she still inconsistent? Anybody could jump in.
I think in the grander scheme of things, it's not really a consistency because she's been hung up on him for how many years? She's just circling back. I think in this case, I see it less as being inconsistent and more just putting herself back in alignment with what she really wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people are saying that it's like not a reaction. It's like you are actually making this decision. Uchechi, I want to make sure I can hear you because I don't know if you tried to say something.
I'm sorry, I can't even hear you.
Oh,
give me 1 second.
Okay, because we can hear you. So just let me know. While we do that, I wanted to check out some tweets that I thought were hilarious last night. Nathan gave Issa the encouragement to start her business. What did Lawrence do except be tall and have a kid? You are so rude.
Did they lie?
Exactly. That's why I wanted Issa to be saying
Not at all. But Lawrence Hive, Lawrence got a kid, but he got a furnished house with an island kitchen, multiple bedrooms, with a well-funded 401k. Issa did the right thing. We wish Nathan and his shape-up endeavors the best.
Y'all not gonna let that.
Issa got her own money now, though.
Go,
niggas.
I mean, I'm team Best Buy.
Her own money, though.
I'm Best Buy Hive. I'm Team Lawrence. At the wedding, it did kind of give like after you see like a man who has like done your friend dirty, everybody kind of give him like weird energy. That's what I felt at the wedding. It didn't feel like, oh, hey, Lawrence. It felt like, hey, Lawrence.
It would have definitely been a side eye for me too.
Yeah. But I am still Lawrence Hive.
I'm Best Buy Hive down. In her drive, as we're seeing like moments of her. First of all, okay, not that it's a bad thing, but the girl who played the best friend in Awkward Black Girl, who also played the coworker at We Got Y'all, Still at We Got Y'all. I don't know if she elevated, got promoted. I felt a little sad that she was still there because low key, like, if I'm this successful and I drive by you still in that goddamn office, I might judge you a little bit.
Oh my God.
I didn't even pick up on that.
Nah, but did you clock the shortcut? Sis had like KP and Envy from Shorty Swing My Way.
It was giving queer boss. It was giving like, Joanna's gone because she's out of touch. Let's get someone who actually knows a little bit more. Still giving, can I speak to the manager? But she was in there. She was in there. But when Issa was driving down and some dude with the Best Buy shirt came out of the Rite Aid, and I'm like, so y'all hitting me with a 2-for-1 nostalgia. Like y'all hit me with 2 birds and 1 stone. Like when I saw that, I was like, the end is the beginning. Like we made it back home. It was a long ride, but we made it back home. Okay, so we were starting to talk about this question in the dissection as well. And of course, I want to jump into the chat and see what all of the viewers are saying as well. But of course, the patrons who are on. In the end, Issa's mirror bitch is gone.
Yeah.
What do we think it means in the theme of everything's gonna be okay? People were saying she's finally insecure, no more reflection, and I was like, so I want to see what y'all feeling like. Is Issa finally insecure? What do we take from Mirror Bitch being gone in the end?
I think she finally learned to just trust with what she's feeling, because the insecurities are going to be always there. She's just to have more trust in what her choices are, and that trust that whatever choice that she makes, she can live with it and she could be good with it. And that's what I got from it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you're always going to be insecure about something, but I think maybe like Mirror Bitch and Issa just became one in that moment. You know what I mean? Like, she's not gonna have insecurities, but yeah.
Yeah, I almost feel like it's not even that Mirror Issa is completely gone. I think she's just in a point in her life where it's not needed, I guess. She's kind of moved past it, but I don't think that you ever really hit a point where that kind of insecurity or that kind of doubt ever really goes. You just kind of learn how to live with it better. And even when you have those moments of self-doubt, not let it like take you down or hold you back as much.
So I think it's a full circle moment in the same way. If everybody remembers, like Mirror Bitch didn't get introduced until I think the 2nd season, or maybe like the last couple of episodes of the 1st season. And whenever Issa would be in the mirror, it would be essentially her speaking to herself. It wasn't until a couple, episodes, until we're deeper in, that the mirror starts to speak back to her, and that's when she's at the most. When she's at the beginning of the episode, she's in a relationship, she has a job. Whether she likes it or not is not the question. She is in some way secured in life. But we see mirror image, the Mirror Bitch, become more and more of a force as we see her become more and more confused about decisions and choices that she has to make. So when we get to the end and she's no longer, and she finally has made the decisions that she feels is best for her, the person that speaks back to her is her again. So she's back again to a secured spot, but this time she actually likes it.
Yeah.
Listen, I said on the wrong day, Mirror Bitch would have got cracked in her face. But I do
You
get
have
that.
to see me. Oh my God.
She was
on one this episode.
No,
Yeah,
but Mirror Bitch is there to keep her in check. It's almost like her subconscious, like telling her, like, you don't have this figured out, and I'm here to keep you on your toes about life. You don't have all the answers. And as we go through this process and this journey together, I'm kind of like a reminder to you to like kind of get your shit together, keep your shit together at whatever stage you may be in. So I think Mirror Bitch is necessary.
But she turned into like a guide and a bouncing ideas off of you, X, Y, and Z, to like a fucking hater. I was like, who is that?
It's
But
so
it was so real
realistic.
because there are some times where like I'll just be sitting alone thinking about the dreams and everything that I want to accomplish and what had happened and why me, Lord, and I get into my little state. And then my mirror bitch be going off, and I'm like, okay, all right now. Like, that's enough. So, but like when I'm seeing it on TV, I'm like, yo, that's fucking harsh. She's a hater. But I'm like, no, I sound like that. And I'm like, oh my God, I say that to me too. And to see it happen like outside of my own consciousness where I'm watching someone else speak to themselves that way, you realize how fucking harsh it is and how unnecessary it is. And it's like,
Yeah.
boy, who asked you? Like at
Yeah,
all.
we're our own worst critics.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
I like how mirror bitch fluctuates though, because that's how it is in real life. Like
Right.
certain situations will draw that viciousness out of you. Like, but like you said, it's not necessary. It's like, especially if you have a task to complete or something to do, beating yourself up will only make it harder to do. But we still do it. I know I do sometimes.
I be beating my own ass. I just be sitting here like,
Yeah.
she want
And I like how Issa said, how do you know? I like how Issa said, how do you know it's not gonna work out? Like,
that's true.
You know what I'm saying? I think that was a very point.
If there was time, I believe Mirror Bitch would have responded. It just happened to be an inopportune time. But that Mirror Bitch would have definitely responded and been like, actually, we've been here before.
Right, bitch, it's not gonna work out because you do the same thing.
We've been here before with this. Oh, this same exact man. That's why we know.
I think she just felt stronger in her thoughts, because those, like you said, we're our own worst enemies, and those thoughts are going to be there. It's just that you feel more stronger, and with success, she can deal with it. She can talk back to it and tell her, how do you know? Like, shut up.
I don't think Issa's ready to be nobody. I don't think Issa ready to be nobody's stepmama, and that's just that on that. I just don't. She don't. I mean, do she strike y'all as somebody's stepmama?
No.
You never know.
There's all kinds.
She give me like, I hate to say it, but she gives me like bitter stepmother. like the kind of stepmother that like low-key be looking at the child like, nigga, you ruined my life. Like she gives me bitter stepmother. I'm sorry. I love Issa D. I love her down. But she gives me bitter stepmother vibes.
Deal at the end.
Good, because that scene looked beautiful.
She already had a daydream when she tossed that little nigga.
That was old Issa. Come on,
what were you gonna say?
That's what I said. I said she already eated that baby. She said, fuck that baby.
So when you guys have like your tough love, critique, accountability, how do you guys know when to, for your own individual experiences, how do you guys know when to curb that negative self-talk versus allowing it to curate you making better decisions for yourself?
Somebody tell me.
Well, for me, I've lived quite a while, and just working on yourself and going through experiences. After a while, I have a lot of people in my corner, like real key people that have told me that you talk too much negativity about yourself. Like I tend to, like, self-deprecation. I had to work through that. So after a while, you get to know, that that's the way you think about things. And when things positive come your way, you tend to be, like, well, waiting for the other shoe to drop. You can't even enjoy your successes because, and that's something that comes from trauma. If you're a child of trauma, whatever success you get, no matter how beautiful it is, everybody's compliment and say, hey, you look beautiful. Even as simple as that. You're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. And now, with the pandemic, it brings on all kinds of stuff. But after a while, when you grow and you've seen your successes, it's like, okay, I can take that. And you see that things good can happen, and you just work with it, and you try to quiet that negativity in your brain, because it's always going. It's always going. You just learn how to deal with it, how to cope with it, and not let it derail you and block your blessings.
Yeah, I don't think it's a either or for me. I kind of feel like depending on where I'm at that day or in that moment, I might go between like the more angry voice at myself versus like, okay, let's just gently call myself in, I guess. But I kind of feel like both of them work in conjunction with each other. So it kind of just depends on where I'm at, like in the process. I'm kind of the same way though. Like I try not to like let it completely stop or drag me down when I'm having those moments where I have to call myself in or hold myself accountable for some shit. But I just kind of take it as an opportunity to really sit in it and think about, like, sit in the tension and kind of think through whatever happened. And then from there, I kind of just grow from it and just take the lessons and move on,
I think I'm kind of like you with that.
I kind of go ahead.
Oh, my bad. No, I was just saying I'm like you, like Mark, with that. It depends on the day. But if it's a bad day, the only way I'll stop is if I get tired. Get exhausted.
Dang, Adrian, it's like that. Oh my gosh. Whew,
When you get tired, it's like, okay, I did all that. Now it's time to
wore yourself out with all
what am I
that.
gonna do about it? And,
Yeah.
but sometimes
Well, you know what? Y'all, I'm in the mood to argue.
I know you have your reasons.
I want to fight. Now, Uchechi and I were already talking about this. I already know what she's going to say, but I want to ask everybody else. Jump in the chat. Here we go. Okay. Issa's original dream was to have Lawrence's child, make a family with him. But that ended up looking different than what she originally imagined. Did she fulfill her wish, or did she betray herself?
I don't think she did either.
It's not been fulfilled yet.
Why?
Sort of.
Well, I mean, I'm saying there's still time to do what if she wants. You know what I mean? Like if she wants to carry his child or something like that. I think that there is still time. I think she's on the path to doing it. But you can interpret it as she has fulfilled, like it's a version of it. But I don't know. I see both perspectives.
Because I'm thinking of it in the sense that, like, she wants a child with Lawrence, point blank. This Elijah did not come from her body. It's not her child, but this is how she decided to build the family that she imagined. So it is still her Lawrence baby. So is that like fulfilling? Like, is that like, you know what? It's not the way I imagined it, but it's still the family that I'm choosing to create with this or have with this man, versus that's not even what you wanted, but you're settling to take care of somebody, his child that's not yours, in order to have this dream.
Depending on Issa's trajectory, I think Joshua, what's the baby's name? Daru? He's always going to be a reminder. I think he's always going to be a painstaking reminder of how her ideal dream did not come to fruition. But I think she may love Lawrence enough to kind of make concessions and give some grace to that situation. But betray herself, I don't know if I would go so far as to say betrayed, but I do think there could be a little resentment there, depending on Issa's growth or how much she does that.
I think she has that family, but I still think she wants her baby with him, because this is like her practice run. She's a stepmom, and they seem to be getting along fine. So I think she'll be ready when it's time for her to have one.
A. Barty says, I just want to know if Issa had a baby with Daniel, would Lawrence want her back?
No.
Guys are different.
No, he wouldn't.
No.
Yeah, speak on it, Chet.
No, absolutely not. We already know what time it is.
Yeah.
We already know that Lawrence would have looked at her. He barely wanted her back for fucking him. Talk less of like actually like having a child that represents the cheating that she did. So no, absolutely not. We already know what time it is, and we know that it's the expectation of women to allow men to spin the block with however many children he comes back with.
Mhm.
Someone had retweeted.
Ooh. Now, Uchechi, you and I were speaking about taking exes back, and you don't believe that this reunion between Issa and Lawrence is even based in love. Can you let everyone know your take on their reunion?
No, I don't believe it's in love. Or let me put it like this: I like it's love is not the only thing. It's more of a comfort thing. Issa and Lawrence were together for 5 years in their formative years, which is their 20s, and they broke up, and they broke up really in a volatile manner. Never really got complete closure, despite the many times that it seemed like it, where they had to move out of the apartment and stuff like that. Um, and so they kept, to me, what their love really was a representation of, or it was a representation of how we can assume that stagnancy and familiarity are love. So we keep going back to what looks familiar, we keep going back to what reminds us of good times, as opposed to really acknowledging that maybe this is it, this is the end of the road, and that's okay. Forever doesn't have to happen.
Now,
Yeah,
look,
I even said,
go ahead, go ahead.
sorry, I even said earlier in the season, I wasn't sure if Issa really wanted Lawrence or if she just wanted to win. You know, like
Mhm.
getting him
Yeah,
back
just
kind of
going
feels
after
like accomplishing, like some kind of mission, I guess. So I don't, because it feels a bit ham-fisted to me even still, but yeah, I feel like there were other underlying motivations aside from just these two being soulmates or whatever the fuck else.
I
Because
mean,
I truly cannot see how Lawrence has like actively changed outside of getting a job, getting a place, having a child. I still don't see where he has totally changed emotionally, because this man still had to be told to go out and fight for Issa, and that alone tells me that he's still in the same emotional space that he was in season one. And I feel like we're kind of conditioned to think that his outburst at the going away party is some sort of like fight or love, when he had to be reminded to do that.
Mm-mm.
Mhm. Yeah. But
I
for,
also
for me,
generally,
That was trash.
for me, this
yeah, I
is
also
a good
just generally
show.
don't like that kind of bringing that kind of drama to a public space
that
like that. That
shit
was
to
tacky
me
as hell.
was so,
That was crazy.
I like
He could
That
have
was some
gotten
weak ass shit.
it was weak shit. I'm so sorry. Like, and you do that in front of my family, in front of my friends. Like, there's a way to fight for your love. Like, you could have put me to the side. You could have
He took it
texted me
literally.
a text. You could have,
He took
like,
it
you did
literally.
that shit. And that's why I'm gonna keep preaching about it. It felt like it was so self-centered and self-serving, because you don't care about how Issa's feeling in that moment. You don't care in front of her family, in front of her friends, doing that shit. You
Narcissist.
don't care. It was all about him. It was all about like how I feel. You with this other nigga. Da, 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 da. It was not that shit. That shit would have really made me think twice about engaging with him. Period. Like,
Same here.
Incompetent.
I don't believe in those grand gestures in the theater, in the arena. Marry me. I don't believe in that stuff. And the fact that he did that, just like your point, I would have been like, what? I don't know, for the sake of the show, and because they had such a long relationship, I guess a lot of people wanted them back together. But in real life, not me. No, it's
Y'all,
like,
I don't know,
it's
because
like,
I
bye bye, Lawrence.
I, so the reason why I'm Lawrence Hive and why I was rooting for this is because we have to remember, even with the time jumps and stuff, like, we've been sitting around for 5 years on this show, but in their universe, it's kind of about 2-ish years, with the exception of like all the excessive time jumps in like this final season. So like,
That's even
they
worse.
share a history. They share a history. They share a friend group, And they always have these like these big, huge emotional check-ins on like, I still love you. Like I still, even when they're apart. And like someone said in the dissection on Patreon, was just like, we're going to decide to take a break. Maybe we can get ourselves together and then come back, which is why I thought it was a timing issue. Because even when they were originally together, Lawrence was depressed and not the man that Issa needed. And then they kept dating other people, but kept kind of checking in, circling back, checking in. But they always loved each other. So the question reigning over everything is, what was the question? I think I lost my train of thought. If everything were right, would we be together? And they kept catching each other in these wrong spaces, but they always loved each other while they were trying to find the right space to make it work. And so you come to this question where she cheated and I'm gone. Okay, is that enough to stay away from the love of your life? Are you going to fight to have it back? Like,
but is love enough? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
love is not enough. Love is not enough. Love cannot feed you. Love does not pay the bills. Love does not do shit. It is not a feeling. We kind of look at it as this feeling, this inexplicable, uncontrollable feeling that you have to follow. You don't. You can absolutely control what's happening when it comes to love. You have a decision to make when it comes to love. And the fact that it's only 2 years in the world actually makes it worse to me, because once again, it just goes back to the fact that they're seeking the comfort. They're seeking the familiarity. They know each other. They laugh at each other's jokes, all the things that are familiar. And I was rewatching season 1, the first episode, because I was like, let me see if I am projecting myself onto this, right? And I watched it and I'm like, Lawrence is the only man in her life who never was able to give her the encouragement that she needed to move forward and get out of the space that she was in herself. And I understand that he was depressed. I understand that he was going through things. But even when he was doing well, he would give her one-liners. Oh, you're doing great, Issa. And then keep it pushing. There wasn't any encouragement. And I remember in the first season, she absolutely did say, like, maybe we need to get, when she fake broke up with him, she was just like, maybe we should get our shit together separately and then see what happens. And I think, once again, like, I would see that if Lawrence really truly changed emotionally within that time. The love isn't enough. This man is still essentially the same person with a better job, a better haircut, and a house. The love isn't enough for me. And even I think Issa in season 1, it wasn't enough for her.
Yeah.
He has an air of arrogance that I think we didn't see it. If it did go away in the 2 years, we didn't see the process of it going away. But I think that it's a weird pride arrogance thing that he has, which was the source of the issue in the fight at the party. So I'm just like, okay, if that didn't happen, you could have probably convinced me that nigga changed. But I was like, nope. Nope.
I also want to get on Issa.
We've seen the growth.
Sorry, go ahead, Malik.
I also want to get on Issa, because I think her getting back with him is because she's insecure. Like, I think she's a new kind of insecure that's like, my friends are getting married, they're having babies, people who I didn't even expect, like Kelly, I thought she was going to be the last one to be in this space. Like, I feel like all of that drove her to feeling insecure. Just like at the beginning of this season, it was about career. I feel like this part of like her insecurity with her friends is about like motherhood and like being a wife and like the work-life balance and like all of that. Like, I think that she got back with him based off of her own insecurities again, of like her being left behind from all of her friends.
You know, you have a great point right there. I thought of that while I was watching it, because you remember they had a shot and she was looking at Kel and she was like, she's pregnant. And like everybody's getting all this. Molly got married. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But you know what? I think that look was also because, like, I think right there was like a visual, this may be a reach, but I think the visual like display was like, Kelly is not sharing stuff with me anymore. Like, I think that like we really wanted Kelly to wake up like, girl, these are not your friends. And I think Kelly did that quietly and like sort of like reset her boundaries. So it's like you can tell with her and Tiffany, it was not a surprise for Tiffany that like she finally got pregnant. You know, it was a surprise, but it wasn't like out of this world in the way that Issa thought. So I think that look was also like, oh wow, like this is like we are not like the same anymore. Like I'm even outside of my friendships, you know? Yeah.
Dang. Okay, you was gonna say something.
Greg.
I was just they made the points. I think that we've seen the character development and the growth in everybody else, right? Even in the way Molly responded to Dro at the party when she just came out and said, "Hey, we used to fuck. What's up?" And the way that Kelly kind of stepped into her own. Everybody has showed some kind and exhibit some kind of growth, and I think that no real growth has happened between Issa and Lawrence. And like what Chechi said, it's complacency. It's a comfortable, familiar place that we can come back to, because how dare we challenge ourselves to step outside of this, leave it where the fuck it was, be like, that was cute while it lasted, and try something new, because it's scary.
Yeah, I think maybe because Issa had a lot of change, especially like in her career. Maybe Lawrence kind of felt like a bit of familiarity because he was like one of the holdovers from, you know, back when she wasn't doing so well.
A holdover. I'm gonna keep you in the back, keep you warm in the back pocket in case.
It's hard to build a relationship. It's really hard, and putting in 5 years feels like a lifetime, especially when you do it in your early 20s. She even said it. The funny thing is that she said it. She was like, "I have spent a majority of my 20s with a nigga I'm not even going to end up with."
Ooh!
She said that. She said that. So she was ready. So she knew that there is more for her. And I think in circling back, I think all the, like somebody said, like all the changes that has happened in her life, this is one place that knows her inside and out. And she'd rather be, and she has chosen to be there. Love has not taken her and dragged her back to Lawrence. She chose to be here. And, you know, for TV, it's great. It's cute. It's the love story. But, you know, I'm a little too old for love stories. You know, like that shit don't move me. I am unmoved whatsoever. Like, I'm like, girl, okay, whatever. You know, grow the village, be Condola's babysitter, whatever.
Tasha's face is cracked.
Correct. Oh my God. Y'all over love stories and romance? Damn it. Remember Cherise said, look, y'all done sucked all the romance right out the room.
No. What you said?
I mean, Latasha, you know me. You know, I'm like, you know me and romance. You know, I'm like, the fuck is this? Like,
I do, friend. I do know you.
He said, I'm leaving here with something. I'm from around the way.
I'm leaving here with something.
I was curious to know as well. I remember being in a place years ago, and someone tweeted this too, where so many of us actually grew with the show. I took a BuzzFeed quiz when this show was new, and I was like, I'm definitely Molly. I'm popping. They were like, you're very Lawrence. Like, you're depressed on the couch, and you need to like come to terms with that. And I was like, okay. But I was really struggling. I was really depressed. I had like a really bad time. So the question, I feel like there's what Nathan said, this little nagging feeling in the back of my mind I'm trying to run away from. That phrase, everything's gonna be okay. For me, that was true. It needed time and patience for everything to be okay. But for some people, it really ain't okay. And I wonder if that's teetering on what people call toxic positivity, because there are a lot of people living really great lives and all they needed was time and ambition. But even that is starting from a really great place. Some people get dealt a bad hand. And I wonder if it was inspiring. It's a beautiful thing to say. I appreciate it. It gave me all the tingles. But for some people, do it be working out like that? Because some people get it bad. Will everything be okay?
I think it'd be okay no matter what. I think that's the whole issue, that she's come to the realization that no matter what happened, and she's giving herself that space that if it don't work out, it don't, but she's gonna try. And she's finally because there was so much not hesitation, what's the word, like she just couldn't see the future. That's why they were doing all those time jumps to see, you know, the successes that she has. She couldn't even be in that space to see the success that she can be. So now she's
Yeah, but I guess I'm asking,
made that choice.
Is that applicable? Is that
the
applicable?
audio is crazy. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
I can
So
hear you.
she's giving herself that space to try, and you know, whatever happens, happens. And that's what I see. And they had a really nice scene in the home with the child. You know, it seemed okay to me. The vibes were good. I'm just saying, for me, I wouldn't have went back to Lawrence, but for Issa, it seemed to work. That's what they were showing us.
I think
I was gonna say that I think at first I was like, maybe that might be toxic positivity, but then I remember that Issa was down bad. I mean, sis was not to knock Lyft driving, but she quit her job. She was struggling with money. Even like once Lawrence moved out the apartment, she really couldn't afford it. She was sleeping on Daniel's couch. She was afraid to even stay with her friends, and then she finally came up from that, was able and was staying, became a a super, an apartment manager, was doing odds and ends to try and figure it out, and decided, and then, finally got the inspiration to start the blog. But then, even then, she was having issues with her relationships. And, like, as far as friends were concerned, her and Molly were struggling for a whole season. So she was, I think what it is a reflection of where she has come from. She finally allowed herself to reflect. And so, okay, well, I came from there. So, if I could come from there, I think everything will be okay. Like, I didn't die. And I think, as somebody in the chat said that okay is relative. And I think that's truly it. Like, you kind of, it's relative to where you came from or where you plan on going. And I think that for somebody else, like where, I do question if Issa wasn't driving a Lexus and wasn't living this beautiful, home, would she call it, would she say that everything is going to be okay? And that's, to be questioned, but she's here. So she can say that.
As I'm here, survived all my days. Anybody else's take on everything's going to be okay?
I think everything.
I just hope it works out, because if it don't, she's going to become mirror.
Hold on 1 second, so can I be right with you? Go ahead, Adrian.
Oh, no. I was just saying that I think everything, if you're talking about the statement overall, like everything is not going to be okay all the time, like 100% of the time. But I think the point is not letting that fact prevent you from getting up. It's like either you get up and fight or you lay down and die. And that's literally what it comes down to at the end of the day. But it's that fighting with yourself about that, I think, is like one of the most difficult parts about life, but it's just like, you have to get up. Like, you have to get up. You gotta get up.
Go ahead, Token.
I'm sorry, it's really choppy on my end. I don't know if it's a delay. Yeah, can y'all hear me? I think that I hope it does work out, because if it doesn't, Issa is going to literally become Mirror Bitch. Like, in the way that Mirror Bitch can be a little bit. I really hope it does work out, but this is the decision. This is the choice that she made. So, I guess we'll never see what happens, but let's just hope it works out.
Well, I mean, I think that even the way that they framed the show, like Issa, like in real life, she's framed it as saying, like, this isn't like a definitive ending. It's like, you're on a ride with these people, and this is just where we get off. So life just kind of continues going on from there. So I kind of just feel like, I mean, I feel like it's at least a very realistic scenario that they would break up at some point. But I think that, like, as far as the overall message of being like okay or not, and this kind of reflects my own kind of approach to life and everything, but I think that it's more so about being okay with the thought that you won't always be okay, So, life has its ups and downs, life has its peaks and valleys. So you can't, like, you know, it's not realistic to go through life with the expectation that you're always going to be okay. But you should go with the knowledge that sometimes it's going to be good, sometimes it won't be. But even when it's not, you're still ultimately going to work through it and get to a place where you can be okay again. And that's just kind of how life goes.
Period. As we start to close out, does anybody have any love stories for Issa Rae, for Insecure? How the show impacted you? You remember where you was at on what episode, and how it all made you feel? Any love notes before we close out tonight?
I have to say, I definitely don't have
a
love
love
stories
note. Oh, I'm sorry.
in general.
I
No,
didn't have a
you go
love
ahead.
note, but a lot of people, because I follow other people too, they've been, talking bad about the arc of this season, but I really enjoyed it because I'm looking for growth of the characters, and because that's the stage I'm in also. So once you find your power, like you say, you're going to be okay. You know that no matter what is thrown at you, you're going to be all right, because you can make the decision and you can move forward from that. You can get up even if you're knocked down. And that's what I got from it. So I think that was a powerful thing for me.
Mark, were you going to say something?
Oh, no, I was just making a side joke.
Okay. I already went on my rant during the dissection about how watching Issa Rae impacted me so much, especially as a Black woman, as a creator. It took me so much to not shed a tear in that dissection, because I'm so emotional about how she accomplished her dreams. And that final shot, let me see if I can show it here too. This final beautiful shot of her just being like, boom, dream achieved. Like the pride in her eyes, like that soft glow, like
it was
I can't. I'm so proud of her, and the way that we collectively get together, Best Buy Hive every Sunday night, waiting for the answers, waiting to see what they're gonna do, and watching our lives change against the way the characters' lives change in the show. Because I definitely went from Lawrence to Molly as I planned. So, I hope I'm Molly. Oh my God. So I just wonder if anybody else had any
I love how this show exposed just how lazy the TV industry been when it comes to portraying Black people on the screen, from the cinematography, the lighting, to the way that they interact with each other. Like the TV industry has been so lazy. Just throw a light on that hoe. Just whatever looks. It's whatever. That's what that's what they've been doing with Black people the entire time, and it exposed them. And I feel like it's set kind of a new standard. You have to step your pussy up.
Yeah, I was even gonna say, one thing I appreciated with this show was it's just cool to have just a regular ass show about Black people just living their lives, and it doesn't have to have this, this activist thing associated with it, like all this extra baggage onto it. It's Black folks existing in a way that's still realistic about race and stuff and all of that, but it doesn't there's not some big message that has to overwhelm the entirety of the show. It doesn't feel bogged down with the need to have some grander message with a lot of other media that we get.
It's showing and not telling.
I would
I
always
appreciate
laugh
the music.
I will always laugh at Luke Cage being like, "We don't say the N-word around here, boy." Yes!
What?
I am the proud N-word sayer. Shout out to what is his name? What's the comedian? Paul
Mooney?
Paul who?
Mooney?
Mooney. I was gonna say Looney. I was like, I know Looney ain't right. Paul Mooney. I brush my teeth with the N-word when I wake up every morning. I think he changed his mind later in life, but whatever, I'm still there. But I don't want any more woke Twitter language. I am a queer, non-binary person living in New York City who's against white supremacy, and it's just shut up. Just go get a job. Go date somebody. Go do something that we can. We don't need all that mess. Like, be regular and black. Just exist, please.
I think I like the way that the show worked. Like, even though it has like I essentially, like, because it started at when Issa was 28, it ended when she was 33, and I was 28 when the show started. I'm 33 now, and that has been surreal. To like literally experience those ages with her, especially as my life mirrored in a lot of ways what the show was doing with relationships, with career, completely different career than when I was 5 years ago, completely different life than what I was living 5 years ago. So many things have changed, so many things I've experienced. I've lived, oh Lord, lived many lives in the last 5 years. It's lifetimes in the past 5 years. It's really insane. And I had been, even prior to the show, I had been following Issa. Like, shout out to my cousin who like damn near 10 years ago was talking to me on the phone and was just like, hey, you ever heard of Issa Rae? And I said, no. And she was just like, yo, she has like a show on YouTube. And this is when YouTube was still kind of funky. So like, and I was like, a show on YouTube, like, who does that? And she was just like, no, like, I think you'd really like it. You remind me of her. And I was like, okay. And it was like one of the first times I had saw something and I saw a Black girl who was dark skinned, who had natural hair, who, was kind of weird, kind of quirky, but was just trying to fuck it, live through life. She wasn't built like a vixen. She wasn't like super, like, she wasn't presented as this like all-knowing, super smart, sage that they present Black women to be, this mammy figure or whatever like that. She was just some 20-something-year-old girl who was just trying to get through life and not die in process. And that for me, as somebody who does work, who does activism work, who does all this stuff, like that for me was like, a moment to like finally breathe and see something that was super realistic. Even her, like, there's a lot of times I'll see Black women on TV and their dating lives are not realistic, or like their friendship circles are not realistic. And for the first time, I was seeing something that was a lot more realistic, and it actually was relatable because Girlfriends was there, but I was young. I think I was like in high school when Girlfriends came out. All these other shows, I was just too young to really relate. And then as you get older, the material doesn't age well. So, I'm hoping that Insecure ages well, and just seeing the trajectory of the show, seeing the trajectory of the cast members. Like, I met Yvonne just as we were on a panel together in 2011 at our church. And she told me, we were talking, and she was just like, yeah, I just came back from Liberia. I'm trying to do comedy. I'm trying to go into acting. And I was like, are you serious? She's just like, yeah. And I was just like, well, God bless. Because, being Nigerian, I was just like, I don't know. I wish you well, because I don't know how that's going to work. Only for me to like a couple years later, find myself in the space of like media. So it's really been inspiring to watch it. It's been inspiring to somehow try to emulate it. Just watching the doors that have been opened, I am so, so grateful I'm really grateful that this show ever existed. I'm really grateful that the show has shown so many different variations of Blackness, even in its imperfections, has been able to do something that so many shows have not been able to do. I'm incredibly grateful for them to show that, Black beautiful men exist. Sometimes it be feeling like they don't. Like regular as Black men, various, they very much
exist. Daddy in the episode last night.
So, she has, Issa stacked this show in a way with characters that and directors and writers and people that we would never have been exposed to if the show had never gave them the opportunity. And that for me is like, I hope that one day I can be able to do something similar in any industry where I can open the doors for so many people, and give them enough space, not only so that the doors open for them, but they can also open the door for other people as well too.
Ooh, integrity
You
shines
said it, sis.
through and through.
And also, I'd like to add showing a part of LA that you usually don't see on TV.
Oh, the locals are mad though. In the documentary, she was saying that the locals are real mad because they used to go down the block and get their tacos, and now it's a 4-hour wait.
Yeah.
Makes landmarks.
That's what
in
we
their
say about in
city.
Red Hook in Brooklyn. It's like they
That's
changed
like
it.
Geno's in Philly. Like they
Wow, the locals are like, we had enough of this.
Whoever worked up Dune's apartments are just pissed off at Issa at this point.
Yo, whoever like lives at 9 the Dunes, I know they hate it. I know it's some little black person outside.
every
I'm trying to watch my shows. I need y'all to leave. Like, yeah. But oh well, we love it. It's a new Hollywood. It's a Black Hollywood sign.
I also want to add, like,
I really
Sorry, go ahead, Malik.
go ahead.
And then I'll go to Token.
Go ahead.
okay. I want to add that, like, Insecure, like, has a real nutritional value, like, in a way that, like, the nutritional value of TV has been, like, undervalued. And I think that, like, by experiencing Insecure, like, me even talking to my Black therapist and being like, I'm feeling very Molly circa season 3 and her like getting it, like it's something that's like so crazy. Like that is so crazy of like how that art literally like is imitating and like bringing nutritional value to my life. Like even taking a walk with my friend and me being like, remember that episode when like Issa was doing this and they were going on a walk and like it like adds like real nutritional value to your life. Like it's not like just it's a comedy and it's like light and like things like that, but it adds like, it has so many little gems in it that like add real goodness, like real impact to like Black people's lives. Like it has a real like nutritional value is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Token.
Mm-hmm. That's delicious. I just want to thank Insecure for the soundtrack. The music all seasons was just fire. So
yes.
I appreciate it for that.
When she played Flo Milli after she I walk around like that.
Period. Or just I think my favorite was when season 1 finale where Lawrence bursts back through the door. Issa, I made a mistake. I do love you. And then it goes into her fantasy with the Daniel Caesar. That song and that moment alone put me on the Freudian album. And I was like, oh shit, I got emotions again. Help me, Lord. Not
yeah. Yeah, the placement. The placement of the music. Strategic.
Yeah.
Placement of music, placement of landmarks, places of which I know the locals are pissed off, but like that makes a huge difference in revenue. The placement of brands, of Black brands. In the documentary, they said in that episode, the chilling okay, like where everybody, like the girls were in, and all of the primary, principal characters were wearing Black female brands. That's fucking insane. And the fact that I could like every episode, especially this season, at first it felt a little like forced, but then as the season went on, I'm just like, oh, that's like, Hanifa, that's like, Telfar, that's Brandon Blackwood, that's Brownies, that's, I could point it out in the midst of also saying that's Gucci, that's Valentino, that's like, in the mix of all of these like well-known houses that refuse to allow Black people in. Here we have these Black brands who fucking sell out the minute they're seen on the episode. And that for me, that is incredible. Like that part is like the Black music, the Black brands, like just the Blackness that has been allowed to just like traps through this door and revolving door just keeps going and going. It just is fucking amazing to me.
Molly be dressed down.
Wait, the
too.
black sororities as well. Do
gosh.
y'all think the AKAs watched the last episode?
But I'm sure that the AKAs have seen increased interest because of this last season. Whether they want to say it or not even just them, but Deltas. Like I'm sure those particular sororities have seen a major interest with this show, as it happens when pop culture shows like a reference. It makes a difference in what happens later on with whatever it's referencing.
And I'm gonna just say, I would never join an organization that got yelled at and dragged by Issa Rae. Issa Rae laughed at you. That being said, what an era. We are bringing this insecure chapter to a close. I want to thank everybody that's in the rewatch, everybody that's on the live watch, everybody in the chat, and of course, everyone here. We got Khaled, thank you so much. We got Adrian, thank you so much. We got Malik, thank you for being here. Shelly, what's going on? We got Mark, thank you so much for being here. My girl, my friend, my sister, I love you so much. Uchechi and Mira nigga, aka Token. Thank you guys so much for giving me your time, your energy, your opinions. Thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon, and thank you for just being brilliant, beautiful Black people. Thank you, of course, to Issa Rae for creating this fun moment for us to enjoy. You guys can subscribe to the channel here, Just Latasha. I'll be back in 2 weeks to start the Euphoria dissection, season 2, episode 1, Monday, January 10th, 6 p.m. EST. Only, am I doing it on Patreon? I don't know. We'll see. I'll figure it out. Other than that, see you later.
Only on Disney Channel.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.